Men in sport, a timeless means of entertainment. Some men hit home runs, others are curb stomped. Some win Cy Youngs, others get dunked on. Some men become MVPs, others have 70 saves in a game. But your stats won't matter here. Here we discuss the issues, search the hearts of men, and judge in vivid detail. Only raw takes will do. This is Sports Analysis. This is Sports Unchained. This is Sporticus! Sporticus is now on Patreon. We have 3 tiers, $1, $2, and $5. You can get things like bonus episodes, chat forums, polls and voting, live stream Q&As, monthly giveaways, and fan recognition. Become a patron today.
Oh, that was a great card. It was a real good card. I'm just trying to reflect because I didn't watch the prelims, so I only watched the main card. But it was really
I
good.
love the prelims. I love the prelims better than the main card. They were actually way better than the main card. It's not now. Don't get me wrong. Like when I say stuff like that, if something's you expect something. Like when I say something's overrated, it doesn't have to be by much. It just means that even by whether it's a little or a lot, it's overrated. I'm not saying this card is. I'm just saying like I'm using that same method to measure this. Like I was disappointed in a couple performances. That's not to say that they were bad or not even great. It's just like on the main card. I thought if Dern was gonna look good, she should have just finished. I look for fighters to finish the fight. She needed to finish that fight, in my opinion, to really be looked at as somebody who's really going somewhere. And although we could say the same about Charles Oliveira, we won't say the same because we know for a fact that he just went easy on Tony Ferguson. Lots of respect there. And he didn't go too easy to where he wouldn't be able to finish him. But I think he just dropped it down into second gear and was like, okay, I'm not going to. He stayed in first gear pretty much, actually, not second. Like, and that's what I mean by disappointing, because we want fighters to be finished, if they can be finished, and that's not what happened. But the prelims, I wish you had watched those. Those were great. Like people were getting finished left and right. Really set the tone for the main card and the main event.
Yeah, I was napping. I woke up for the main card only. I wasn't all that interested. I saw the Cub Swanson fight, if that makes you feel better. That was a pretty good one.
I'm Cub Swanson hater, but like he did something that I'm a huge fan of. And everybody, I get behind anybody who does it. He just went back to his roots, man. Like he knew what he had to do and why he had to do it, because he was going to get his leg destroyed. But unfortunately, his opponent gassed. Like he gassed.
Well, he's the ageless wonder, man. Like I really do enjoy watching him fight. He's one of those guys that really did, how I think he's going to end up being kind of like Mark Coleman or Randy Couture, just in terms of their longevity and their competitiveness. I don't think he's ever going to compete for a title, but I think he'll be kind of one of those, almost second tier gatekeepers, if that makes sense, to where if you lose to Cub Swanson, you're really not even ready to face an actual gatekeeper, but
Right.
he's still,
Right.
getting those undercard fights that he's, maybe he's a headliner on a fight night
A
card
fight.
where
Yeah.
somebody, drops out last second. I don't know. I'll always watch Cub Swanson fight. I love Cub Swanson.
You got to have guys like that too, and I kind of feel like Neil Magny's in that, or I might be thinking Neil Magny, and there's one other guy that kind of fits that profile, where you don't think they'll go for a title spot, they'll get a title shot, but who knows? You string together some good wins, and you have a couple dropouts, and you're there. That could happen, especially with COVID going on, man. Because if somebody tests positive, you're literally looking at a potential title fight if you're in the right position.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
So
you brought up the Mackenzie Dern Jandiroba fight. And
yeah,
I honestly, I didn't need to see anything special. I kind of went into the fight with that same mind frame as you did, like where I want to see Mackenzie Dern really make a statement. But then every fight that I've seen Jandiroba in, she's always been at least competitive, and she good ground game. I mean, it's hard to knock her out. She was getting tagged, she was throwing it back. Like
sure.
honestly, I really was kind of a hater going into it, and then coming out of it, she has a little bit more of my respect. I really did think Mackenzie Dern won that fight. I think it was very close, but I really did agree with the decision. I think it was good enough for me to say move her on up to the next, next, tier of competition, because I think that's where Jandiroba was going to. As much as I wanted to hate on her, she really was. She won the right fights
Yeah,
against the right people coming to this point. Like had she beaten Dern is a name comparatively, so I think that
right.
would have been just fine. So I I really actually appreciated that fight a lot for what those two ladies brought to the table. And honestly, like I really thought it was one of the better fights of the night on that card. And every fight was good on that main card. Every fight was good. I thought it was just one of the top two or three, so
That one,
um
like I said, disappointed me. But yeah, I ranked the fight. It was pretty good. It's just I really wanted to see something from Dern. She didn't turn that corner like I thought she would. Sure, you have to move her up. Um, you have to move her up. That's just no question about it. Both of them actually. You can't anybody else is kind of going to be a step a lateral movement, and I don't want to see that lateral movement. They're trying to make Dern a star. They want to make her a star, so do it. Go ahead and put her up against the right people. Um, she better not be protected. If her next fight she does need to absolutely show something, make a statement, no matter who it is, because then she's going to end up in Michelle Waterson territory, because you're there before you know it. It's like, sure, you win some good fights. You win some fights, you win them impressively, you make a statement, but then it's like, well, who did you really beat though? You know,
right.
so yeah, so it's cool. They need to move her up immediately. She needs to fight the next woman up, next person up, because if they don't move her, if she doesn't just continually move up and face tougher competition, she's just going to end up being protected, and that's not going to be good for her, because I think the quicker you fight tough competition, the better you will be for it later. Case in point, flyweight division with Henry Cejudo when he faced Mighty Mouse early in his career versus when he faced him later, and Moreno and the performance he had. So even though it was a draw, I think Moreno wins the next fight between those two. I hate to jump to the middle, but I just meant in terms of put some stiff competition in front of her now, so that she can have time to bounce back from it. Same things with Charles Oliveira and Tony Ferguson. If he had lost that fight, he would have had a decent amount of time to recover from it.
I'm looking at the rankings, and Mackenzie Dern, the strawweight division for the women. Honestly, every fight that you could make after this would be awesome. I would love to see, her versus Tisha Torres or Amanda Rivas, or hell, even Michelle Waterson, Nina Ansaroff, Claudia Gadelia. Like, I mean,
I
there's
I
so
don't want
good
to see
fight.
her versus Michelle Watterson yet. Reason why is I think they're too close together, and I don't think she'll do enough to expose Michelle Watterson. She might. She might. I want her to expose Michelle Watterson. Um, I don't know if she'll do that. I don't think that.
Oh, her wrestling's
I don't know.
all right. Her wrestling's better than Watterson. She would just smear her.
Yeah, and she could submit her. However, I don't think I don't know yet. I think it's a little too soon for Michelle Watterson for my liking. Not that Michelle Watterson's even like it's not. Like it's not that she's great or anything like that. It's just that I want her to be thoroughly exposed. But when Dern fights her, she beats the shit out of her. Like she just takes her out immediately. So yeah, I want her.
I want to see Dern fight winner of Hivas versus Moreno Rodriguez. Like I think that'll be a good fight. But I think he's the next big thing in that division.
Also, they're not going to let Dern fight Watterson yet because Watterson, they still protect Watterson. And Dern, like I said, she might actually just straight up beat her and submit her. So I don't think anybody who has an advantage like that in wrestling, I don't think they're going to let Michelle Watterson just go ahead and fight her. So it is what it is. But
yeah.
No, but you're right though. That is the fight to make. They're gonna make it at some point. I don't know when. But yeah, you got to make that. But it's got to be on a big card too, because it's got to be on a really big card, like something underneath John Jones returning. Not that big, but like the next big one. Like a McGregor card.
Right.
Yeah, put it on my McGregor card, or I would say a Lesnar card, but like something like that. Like it's got to be on a big card. So,
well, I also want to touch on too. I mean, and we've talked about that division, the women's strawweight, a lot, but just the fight before that, the first fight of the night. Actually, I really want to give some credit to the Dos Santos versus Cyril Gane. That was actually a fun fight to watch. I mean, I don't know what else we're expecting from. Sorry, I don't know what else we're expecting from Junior Dos Santos at this point. But
I was expecting him to get knocked the fuck out like he did. I was expecting him to get knocked the fuck out like immediately.
Dude, Cyril Gane he's big. Dude, he's scary.
He's
I'd like to see him fight again. He's a big dude, and he's athletic too.
Yeah, I definitely expect him to whoop Junior Dos Santos' ass. Like, I saw that coming. Like, who doesn't at this point? Like, how could you say, yeah, man, we're going to put him in this fight and he's probably going to win? No, like, against who? Like, when they putting him in with younger, stronger people every time. It's just like he's going to be fighting a fucking toddler next with that weighs 365 pounds. It's like, what the hell's going on? Like, just stop giving him younger, tougher opponents. Please, like give him opponents. I don't know. Has he faced Arlovsky? And I think
Nah, I don't think so. But
why am I? Yeah. I mean, if somebody like that, or I get older people is what I'm saying. I get older people and people who aren't exactly knockout artists because. You want to give him some fights, not just that he can win, but he could be competitive in. And let's stop acting as if he's going to be competitive in his fights. Like, what happens? What happens in these people's camps where they don't say, "Hey, man, you're gonna get your ass whooped"? Like, what are you doing? Like, does anybody ever say, "Nah, you're gonna lose this fight"? Like, I mean, that's not tearing someone down. That's telling them the truth. Like, didn't you know he was going to get his ass whooped? Didn't you know that, Sam?
I mean, it is Junior Dos Santos. At one point, he was really good, so I never put it past him to uncork one. But then again, look at Alistair Overeem. He's really reinvigorated his career, and he's old. I mean,
yeah, but we didn't see anything that Junior Dos Santos had been doing like that. Like, we saw what Alistair Overeem was doing, We saw the things he was doing different, especially in his last fight. We haven't seen anything from Junior Dos Santos, and we know he's gonna keep fighting the same because he keeps fighting younger versions of himself.
Yeah, right.
Younger, stronger, better, faster. Like, damn, stop. Like, don't. I don't know, man. I think that's just it's bullshit when you sit there and you just let your friends and family get their ass whooped like that. Like, I don't think the people around him love him. His loved ones don't really love or care about him to watch him get his ass whooped like this. Um, I know a lot of people like, oh, you're going overboard. Like, no, I'm not. Like, let's just be for real. Like, he wasn't gonna win that fight. Yes, we know he's got knockout power. We know he's a fighter. That's great and all. Guess what? We don't need to see him get knocked out, bro. Like we don't need to see. Am I right in that though? Does he need to, how many times does he need to be knocked out again? He's starting to look like Fedor.
Yeah. I don't know. He's always worth a main card spot in my opinion. Not like main event, but definitely on that first card of the or first fight of the main card. He he has lost his last 4 fights by TKO or knockout or whatever, which is not good for his career, but it's good for entertainment, man. Like in terms of people watching the sport, they do want to see these big guys swinging for the fence, and that's what he does. He just gets knocked out when he does it.
Okay, we're super late on this, almost a month late because we don't do our shows consistently. But Brian Bruce sent an email to us.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Bruce Bryan? I don't know. That would be weird. I hope his name's Bruce Bryan. So here's Bruce Bryan. He said, "Hey guys, been a while. Just finished watching UFC, and though I honestly had only heard of like 4 of the fighters beforehand, it was entertaining. This is the Smith card. I was happy Smith won, but I don't think it really answered any real questions about his future as a top flight fighter. This was obvious, but needed step down in competition. What do you think? Where do you think he goes from here?" So we'll address that. I think he goes directly to the shitter. They're gonna try to put him up at the top again, and he's gonna get his ass whooped, and that's gonna be the end of him.
I'm talking
What are your thoughts?
about Anthony.
Anthony Smith. Yeah,
Oh God.
Anthony Smith.
I don't even know why we're talking about Anthony Smith. He has.
Did you listen to what I just said?
No, I did, but like
I'm kidding. Okay.
we have a lot of shit to wade through for Anthony Smith before he even becomes talkable. Like I mean, he's number 6 ranked, but I really think he should be fighting the guys coming down from number 15. Like those guys.
He's an absolute
or on
gatekeeper.
who happened to get in a good position. Like he needs to fight some crap off before he gets anywhere near Dominic Reyes or Santos or Teixeira even. Like he should not be fighting anyone that's better ranked than he is, in my opinion.
I'll be fair about this. He did fight John Jones for a title, okay?
So
I know, but hear me out. Thiago Santos took a step back with his recent loss. So I can see you having that fight, booking that fight. But that's the fight Anthony Smith gets his ass whooped in and then sends him tumbling back down the hill, So that's a fight you can make. It's interesting because I want to see Anthony Smith get knocked out because I think he's a damn bum. But you can't make that fight though. You see what I'm saying? Like, did you not see the path to that fight? Like, I know it's a step up in competition, but 2 guys who lost to John Jones. That's the card. That's the reason for the fight. You know what I mean? Like, both guys had significant losses after fighting John Jones. Smith, I guess he's back on the rise because he just won a fight. Thiago Santos is both men looking to get back into the title picture, maybe. So that's the build to that fight. So I can see that, but I only see one. Like you're saying, I see him fighting, him being a gatekeeper for much lower guys, much lower ranked guys. But that Thiago Santos fight is the one that sends his ass down to do it. So I see both sides of what we're saying, and that's how I think his career end. He'll be in Bellator by 2021, 2022. I'll give him that because you got to make that Thiago Santos fight, but that's probably after he wins another easy one for him, another step down in competition. Okay. He goes on to say, also, were you having the same visions of dread that I was when that heavyweight bout did not end in the first round? Bonus to them both for his wait. Bonus to them both for it not turning into Kimbo versus Dada. I can see that. And he said no why no coverage of fight circus. Yeah, I remember. I vaguely remember that heavyweight fight, but it was pretty bad. A lot of people saying it was cool. I'll say this: they kept their hands up and they stayed as competitive as they actually could. That was the best worst heavyweight fight I've seen. If that makes any sense. Like I don't know if you remember this fight, but it was just not a lot of guys with names on the card with the Anthony Smith card, but I did appreciate that they kept their hands up and they did what they could because they weren't in the best of shape either. You know what I'm saying? So it was good that it was a well executed shitty fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember watching that specific card. I don't watch
It was
a lot of those fight nights unless there's some implications towards the next event or the title or rankings or something like that. Like Anthony Smith just isn't a big enough draw to me to watch, and I love the sport, but usually when it's going on like that, they're at funny times, and I don't dedicate my time to watching it. So I gotta say, that makes me a bad fan, but at the same time, I feel more snobby towards it than anything. Like I don't feel like I'm not any less of a fan because of it. I just feel like maybe my attitude towards it could be better, if that makes sense. But that's where I am currently on Anthony Smith fights.
I mean, no, and that is what it is, and that's the UFC's fault and their problem. It's not your fault that you don't find him interesting. He needs to do that, and not doing stupid shit like calling out, people he shouldn't be fighting that's gonna knock him out and kill him. He just by having really good engaging fights, like he should have been winning fights instead of losing them. That's how you get hot. That's how people start to notice you and recognize you. And and you start to do it on fight nights. That's where you do it. Like you got to get a shot somewhere, and you're headlining a fight night. You need to look really impressive. Like, where's the Anthony Smith that was knocking people out on his way to a title shot with John Jones? That was a guy that I actually believed in. I was like, man, he's got the stuff to knock out John Jones. And that was not a knock on John Jones at all.
No.
I was just saying, hey, Anthony Smith looks ready. He looks prepared. He wasn't. He showed his ass. He showed that he was a complete bum. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, he was fighting John Jones. Well, look what happened after. He was a fucking bum, and he just got lucky knocking out other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of what he did ended up being what a lot of UFC fighters do. They come in red hot. They not come in, but they hit a streak. And they look really good, but then they face someone who's so far above them that it shows you where they really were, and then they start facing other people that are slightly better than them, or on that same level, but not quite the champ. You know what I mean? Like it's levels to this shit, and he fought top level guy in John Jones. Then when he started facing other guys, he was getting his ass whooped. And now he took a step down in competition. But yeah, enough about Anthony Smith. Can't wait for him to get his ass knocked out.
I was gonna say the next one that I wanted to give credit to was the next fight on that card, which was the Holland versus Souza one.
Yes.
That was a fun, that was an interesting fight, man. I want to say it was funny, but like I don't know, man. We were watching it at my place, and even my roommates were like, dude, that was some sort of like a ghetto beatdown. Like he just beat the shit out of him. It, like I don't even know how to describe. That wasn't like a technical fight, that wasn't one of those things you're like, man, that was really cool. Like I mean, in the sense of like anything else, it's interesting to watch somebody in this day and age as UFC be able to do that kind of thing to a very, very well decorated black belt like Ronaldo Salza, So like I thought it was really funny that he's beating him when they're on the ground, and he's like Sousa's in this guard and he's, getting hit with the side hammer fist and he finally knocks him out and he's just sitting there punching him. Just like, I don't know, man. Like that's the type of thing you see in like some sort of like a backyard fight. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
you're right. I never seen in the UFC or any MMA, I never seen the man had the back of his head held while he was getting his face punched in.
Yeah.
like you said, that was some ghetto, straight up hood beat down shit. I ain't never seen nobody get their ass whooped like that. I mean, he was holding the back of his head and about to kill him. But to his credit, he caught Salza with that, with that right hook, and they were on their knees, so that's not something you think like as a ref, that's not something, or even as the opponent, the guy taking a strike, that is absolutely not something you think is going to land because nobody really throws that with enough, enough power to do that, So when he threw that, man, he clipped him, and that was it. Like I did not think it was going to go down like that. But I'm happy it did because guess what? That's another career ended. Dos Santos and Jacare are gone.
Yeah,
like they're gone. I mean, there's no way the UFC could really keep them, especially when they got rid of Yoel Romero. But here's a good part about it. Bellator is going to get a lot better. By the way, today, Yoel Romero signed for a multi-year deal with Bellator.
Didn't they say they weren't going to sign him? Then they just did. Like that's cool.
No, I just saw breaking news. Okay.
Yeah, no, I saw that too. Like, I thought right when they let him go, they're like, no, we're not interested. Then they're like, no, maybe we are. I don't know. Like,
no, maybe they weren't for whatever reason. I mean, but obviously it changed, and that's a good thing because it should have changed. I don't know. He's old. I get that. He's old, so you don't know when he might fall off that cliff. You don't want a Tom Brady situation. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's all good, and then all of a sudden, like you ain't no more winning. It's like you're just gonna have a bum there. Like I'm not saying Tom Brady's a bum, but he's getting dangerous and close to where he ain't gonna be winning shit anymore. If he's not even getting it done with Tampa Bay. So, I mean, yeah, they beat up Minnesota, but like Minnesota's not good, bro. So, it'd be good to see Jacare over in Bellator. It'd be good to see Dos Santos over there in Bellator. They can run it. Him and Roy Nelson can run it back. I think that's actually going to be good. There are some fights I still want to see, and I think Bellator has a good chance of putting those on. I know they play the oldies, right? I get it, but those are still like Yoel Romero's still a name. A lot of people. I want to address this real quick, and we'll get back to the card. A lot of people talk a lot of shit about Yoel Romero getting cut, right? And I'm like, hey, the last time he was in a title fight, he didn't do anything. And you can say, oh, well, is he this and that? No. Guess what? It was two people in that cage, and neither one of them did shit, right? So there's definitely at least half the fault of Yoel Romero. He wasn't really chasing Izzy, trying to do anything. He was just trying to find that one knockout, and he didn't engage him in an actual fight. That shit gets you cut, man. There's so many people out here that would fight, with everything they had and risk getting knocked out, and not just risk it, but get knocked the fuck out by Izzy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Paulo Costa, he just did. He came in. You think he didn't fight him with everything he had? Sure, he was horribly outmatched, but that's the type of man I'm gonna give a title fight to, not a Yoel Romero who's just kind of like, oh man, but I got these dynamite hands. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Nobody. Okay. Nobody. Nobody gives a fuck about any of that shit and you being a clown. If you're so dominant, go out there and show it every single fight. There's so many people who could go on losing streaks and still keep their jobs because they didn't do the thing that Yoel Romero did. It's that simple, I don't know where you stand on that, but
in terms of Yoel Romero,
in terms of him being cut, because it's a lot of backlash of him being cut because it's him,
No,
just him being cut by UFC.
I think he wasn't gonna win. I think he's only getting older. Like I think, it's sad. I really like him as a, fighter and a personality, but at the same time, what else you got?
Yeah, exactly. That's where I am with it too, and that's why Jacare and Dos Santos are gone. For the exact same reason. But Yoel, what I was saying with Yoel Romero, people are like, oh, well, other people have lost too. I'm like, yeah, but one of those losses don't include not fighting in a title fight. Like that's a giant strike against him, and he deserves to be cut. I hate him for that. I literally do. I hate him for that. I mean, I don't hate him overall, but for that, I fucking hate him. Every time it comes up, I'll bury him. He's garbage for that. And I want somebody to knock him the fuck out, to be honest. I mean, he's fighting. Of course I want that, right? But I want him to get his ass knocked out, and then we'll see what's up. But if I'm not mistaken, he's going to end up fighting Ryan Bader over there, ain't he?
Probably.
Oh, my God. Ryan Bader. I don't know if you listen to this podcast, but you're about to get knocked the fuck out. Especially the way you look in your last fight.
Weight classes. I'm not sure who'd be fighting over in Bellator. I don't know Bellator well enough.
Well, I'm assuming he moves up.
Maybe like Michael Venom Page. I don't know.
I'm assuming he moves up. Well, you didn't want to fight. You didn't want to see him fight John Jones, okay? And no. I get why you didn't. But do you see him in that weight class?
I mean, yeah, it'll be a lot better than cutting down because he probably walks around closer to 205 anyway.
Right, and that's always where I was coming from with it. And yes, I want John Jones to get knocked the fuck out, but that's a common thing with me in fighting. I want to see people lose really badly. Like, I love knockouts. Who doesn't, right? A good submissions too, man. But like, speaking of, what about that young guy? Back to this card. I can't think of his name right now. I can't remember his name, but super young guy, one with a heel hook, I think it was.
Oh, Chase Hooper.
Yes.
I just want to say that is so cute. They're letting children fight in the UFC now.
But you know what? He said like you said, man, he said he had been training as long as a lot of these other guys. It's just that he's much younger. Yeah. And I like that. I like that
generation, and it's really funny. He's just like, he looks like a little kid. It's so funny.
He does, man. But he's got some skills and he's got some heart. I like that they're actually. I like that he got that chance and exactly where he got it too. That would have been pretty cool. Like on the main card of a fight night. That would have been cool to see too. There was, like I said, the card was great, top to bottom. But now let's get to the main event. I'm finna say a bunch of stuff you didn't like, a whole bunch of stuff you don't like.
We forgot Charles Oliveira. I wanted to talk about that too.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. I want to do him last because I think that's more interesting.
Interesting.
Well, reason I say is, okay, so this is a draw. They're going to run them back, right? The main event. So us talking about it, and then there's some controversy. So I think it's going to be settled at one point, and it's still kind of up in the air. That's why I say the Charles Oliveira thing, it's just a straight up win. And we got Tony Ferguson, although his career isn't over, what are they going to do with him? I just think we got a longer conversation out of Charles Oliveira and Tony Ferguson, because then we're going to talk about potential matchups. With the main event, Davison Figueiredo and Moreno are going to fight again, like next. Like they can't run them back next week or nothing, obviously, but the next two people they fight are each other. So, let's get that out of the way. So didn't like the eye poke, obviously, but he put his hand on the man's face and then he poked his eye. That's blatant as fuck to me. Sorry. You know where your hands are. You know your hands have fingers on them. And then you use your finger to put it inside the man's eye. You touched it, and it wasn't a soft one. You touched his eyeball. Like, that's weird. You're fucked up for that. They should have took a point for that. Of course, if they had taken a point for that, Figueiredo would have lost his title. But I think they should have took a point for that. I know you don't think they do. I know you don't think that it was intentional. I believe it was. I believe that a lot of eye pokes are intentional in MMA. And the reason why I say that is because you know what you're doing when you're doing it, you know? If I'm going to be as hard on John Jones as I am for the things he does, I have to do the same thing for everyone else. You know, like I do believe that he does them on purpose. Um, and the way he does it, you could tell. It's like, just stop doing that. Train yourself not to do that anymore. You're a world-class athlete. You're at the top of your game. You're one of the best to ever do it, if not the best. You don't have an excuse as to not doing it. Like, don't do it. No excuses. You know what I mean? If they came up with new basketball rules while Michael Jordan was playing, he would adhere to them, would he not? You know, like everybody in the league would adhere to them, and they might bitch and complain about them, but you would adhere to them. Also, that leg kick, that kick straight to the balls. I hear you. I hear you when you say, yes, those kicks were there all day. He had gave him a couple, right? And he was going to give him another one. But the problem is he was so far back, there was no way he was really going to land that. And he lazily threw it, you know? I'm like, and the reason I say he threw it lazily is because he could have just waited or not thrown it. Because it wasn't there that time, at that moment. That's what I'm saying. That particular kick had been there before, but that particular moment in time, it wasn't. And that was the wrong time to throw it, because the only thing you could do was kick him straight in his nuts. And the ref stepped back and watched him kick him in his nuts. And that's why he took a point. It wasn't, you just got to do better. That's why I'm, like, he intentionally threw the kick. And he knew, he knew, you're professional. You're the champ. You know you're going to miss with this kick. As soon as you throw it, you know you're going to miss. Like, why are you even doing it? If I know you're about to miss and the ref steps back and know you're about to miss with this kick, why the fuck are you doing it as a professional, as a champion? Why are you throwing that kick? You kick him straight in his nuts and get a point deducted. I mean, I know you're going to argue the opposite. I'm just saying that's where I'm coming from with it.
No, I just, honestly, man, like I have the utmost respect for you. I just have I cannot express to you how much I disagree with you. I don't want to say you're wrong. I have done a lot of sparring.
That's fine.
I've thrown a lot of punches. I've done a lot of kicks. I've done it with people. I've done it with heavy bags. I've done it on pads. I've done a lot of it. And sometimes, like, if you're sparring with somebody and you both go to do a move and you see that they're about to do something too and you abort and you go to block or whatever, your hand opens up just instinctually. That shit lands to the face. Sometimes it lands to an eye. The nut kick. It's, to me, from what I remember seeing, he wasn't far away. He was right where he needed to be for him to throw it. And then he took a step in to like throw a punch or whatever Moreno was doing. And, it closed the distance on the last second. And that's where the foot, like the trajectory would have been fine if Moreno had stayed where he was, but they're both moving around so much, so he throws a kick and he just catches him mid stride coming in to throw, a combo or whatever he was going to do. And it just caught him in, squarely, but, it caught him in the wrong spot. I highly doubt he wanted that. I'm sure he would have rather have had that kick land in his liver. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying he intentionally kicked. He threw the kick intentionally. What I'm saying is he knew better than to kick it. And I'm not hit. See,
I don't know, man.
But check it out though.
He'd been landing all fight.
True. He's also a champion, a UFC champion at an elite level, far greater than what we've done in our personal life. And that's why I'm saying he needs to know better. Like, I don't think Daniel Cormier throws that kick. I don't think Dominic Cruz throws it. I don't think TJ Dillashaw throws it. I don't think anybody else throws that kick. I don't think they do it. You know why? It's too much risk. The fight could have ended right there, man. You know what I mean? Like, there's the second component of this. It's not just that kick was there all fight. It's that if you miss with it on this particular time, if you miss with it, you're ending the fight because you're going to kick his nuts into his throat, and he hit him square, man. Like, he dropped the dude. Like, he intentionally threw that kick. I did say he intentionally kicked him in his nuts on purpose, but I'm taking that back. Threw the kick on purpose, and he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have thrown that kick.
Well, it was too risky. I mean, at that point, woulda, shoulda, coulda. But right there, when he's when he's right in the range to do it, you've been landing it, 5-6 times before that. Why the hell not uncork another one? Because you're obviously trying to set something up. He kept landing it.
True.
So the thing is like when you say he should have known not to throw it, what do you mean? When he's being taught that if he's landing, you keep throwing.
He could have thrown that same kick 2 seconds later, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Dude, It's a fight. Hold on. Just like football's a game of inches, this is a fight, right? What you do is going to make the rest of the fight, is going to dictate the rest of the fight. You kicked him in the and what I'm telling you is, it's not that he's being held accountable on a much higher scale, much higher level than just like a non-title fight, and these just two guys on a fight night, and they don't have a whole lot of fights under their belt. No, he's a fucking champ. Don't throw a kick that's gonna end the fucking fight with you kicking a nigga in the nuts. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get what you're saying, man. But I would have been mad at you too. I would have like saying, "Why you throwing that kick?" You were like, "Well, it's been there all fight." But yeah, well, it wasn't that there at that moment. It doesn't matter who it is. Well, I mean, it does. We're holding him to a higher standard. It does matter that he's him. I'm just saying I would do that with anybody. It's not just some regular fight. It's a title fight. You got to be very careful whenever it's a dangerous kick to throw at that particular time. Also, when I add up that kick and that eye poke before then, you look dirty. You look dirty now. The eye poke, that was pretty intentional if you ask me. Like, there was nothing else you were going to do when you put your hands on that man's face with your fingers exposed, besides thumb him in his eye. like straight up, dude.
Well, honestly, I think we're talking too much about little drama-y technical stuff like that and not giving it enough praise to the actual fight. Like, I mean, stuff happens, and those guys were going.
It changed the fight for me. I
disagree, man. I highly disagree. That was such a such a good that fight rebirthed the entire flyweight division better than anything Henry Cejudo could have ever done. You know what I mean? So I'm really sad that that's actually how you're seeing it, dude. Like I was so excited that the fight took place the way it did. Like, yeah, I mean, that stuff sucks. And I'll even go one step further and say that the nut kick, honestly, like if that doesn't happen in the second fight, I think Moreno outpoints him, anyway, like I think that really,
yes. And that's why I changed it from
momentum. But I honestly, like, stuff like that happens. What if Moreno does that next? Are we going to hold him to the higher standard? Like
man. Yeah, if he throws a stupid ass kick, if he throws a kick at the wrong time, a well placed kick at the wrong time is the wrong time. It's the wrong kick.
But the problem is like I'll even watch it again just to make sure that I'm right. But as I remember, the kick was right. It was at the right time until the last second when it couldn't have been taken back anyway. Like I said, it was between a step. Like Moreno was at distance. He fired the kick, and Moreno took a step in, and then that's when the kick trajectory changed. It's not going to meet the same point that it was meant to. Like, I mean, like if you do that with a target if you're shooting a bow and arrow, and somebody's holding a target, and then you fire the bow, and its arrow's already in flight, and then they just move the target. I fired at the one spot, it's not there. Like, so it's
a fight, man. What, you want him to not move?
Well, yeah, but you're
that's
saying
a little bit more preposterous.
No, that just goes against what you're saying. Like, yeah, of course he's moving. That's why it wasn't like like it wasn't an intentionally shitty kick. Like, he should have thrown the kick. It sucks that he moved and the kick landed somewhere else. But like, how many times have people gotten hurt just in general? Like, if somebody throws like an elbow and it hits them, right in the fucking nose and it breaks it. Like Dern got her nose broken by one of the elbows. Like, so,
I'm not trying to take away. I'm not trying to take away his benefit of the doubt necessarily. I know I did, but my point.
I was like, wait.
Here's my point. He intentionally threw that kick. He made a bad decision. That's all. Made a bad decision. I'm gonna tell you this though. I care more about both of them together, both the eye poke and like eye pokes happen all the time, especially in title fights, right? Cool. Kicks straight into your nuts do not happen in title fights like that. They just don't. You know why they don't? Because people don't throw kicks like that because they have to be very precise, and he should know better. You know, and he does know better. He just went for it anyway. That's fine. He made a bad decision. I'm okay with that. I can literally just say bad decision. Okay, I can just and that those things do happen.
Yeah.
And the fight was great. I never said the fight wasn't great, man. I said it wasn't. It changed for me, and it wasn't. It changed a lot when he kicked him in his nuts, man. Because I was like, well, if he takes 15 minutes for his nuts to heal, it's still not going to be the same fight. You know, it's a title fight. He got kicked straight in his dick. There's no, that's no, you know what I'm saying? Like he showed a tremendous amount of heart, and who knows, man? He could have won. He could have won that fight. You know, if that doesn't happen, there's an eye poke and a nut, a dick kick. Like that changed the fight for me. It's hard for me to be like, yeah, man, this fight was super great when I know the outcome could have possibly been different. You know, like that's a good, strong chance it's a different outcome, and he loses his title. Wouldn't that be a better story than a draw? You know what I'm saying? Like if you take just remove the dick kick or whatever, right? That never happened. Moreno just beats him. He outpoints him. Is that a better story than a draw or what?
You know, I really like the draw. I really do. Because even with all those things aside, like I said, he got punished.
Oh, it's great. I said better. You know, no, you're right. I like the draw too. I love the draw.
I absolutely think it's better than either one of them just straight up winning, because we would have been at so much more odds had one of them been declared the winner. Think about it. If Figueiredo had been given the win on that, dude, you would have been fucking mad. You know what I mean? Like, you would have been like, he doesn't deserve the win on that. Well, now we're not talking about him deserving a win. We're talking about what's going to happen in the rematch, because, he gets to keep the title. That's how, draws work in a championship fight. Right. And that's honestly, I really thought that he should have kept the title, but I didn't think he won the fight. So we agree on that sense. True. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily think he won the fight, but neither did Moreno. Moreno.
Yes,
he honestly.
Moreno didn't win, and neither did Davis and Figueiredo.
Eye pokes and nut kicks aside, man. Like, honestly, the whole fight was so back and forth. I think they finished within 4 punches on significant strikes, or like landed strikes or something like that, within 4 total of each other. Like, so like one was at like 108 and the other was at like 104 or something. It's like, dude, you've got to be kidding me. They're that neck and neck on the stats. Like,
no, they were some great exchanges. I told you Moreno wasn't going to be a fucking walk in the park for Figueiredo. That's why we got.
Dude, I didn't realize, because he beat the shit out of Royval, and I didn't realize that Moreno was that good. And then I actually got to watch him firsthand this weekend, and I'm like, all right, man, we got a division right now. Like, because even with Royval, like he can go and fight Moreno again and win plausibly. Figueiredo's right there. People want into the flyweight division. Cody Garbrandt wants to fight Figueiredo. Like, that division is starting.
Shut up.
Yeah, I know, but like just in general, like that division is starting to find life for the first time ever, and not just since Mighty Mouse. Yeah. I mean, ever.
No, you're right. You're right. Hey, check this out. I got a question for you. Where's Cody Garbrandt?
He's healing from a bicep injury.
Yeah, he is at the house. Motherfuckers been. Hold on.
He got too awesome at the gym lifting weights or something.
Right. Maybe he needs to cut down on it or something. But for real, we got people fighting. Kevin Holland said he wanted to fight. They were saying his name like it wasn't Kamev. It was, I'm gonna just say Kazmat. I know his first name, Kazmat.
It's Kamzat.
Yeah, whatever that dude.
Kamzat Kaimev.
Yeah, they were saying Kaimev, and I was like, I thought it was Kimev. Whatever. Anyway, he called him out for next week.
Dude, why not? I mean,
no, and that's beautiful. I don't know if they're gonna do it. I would do it.
They would do it. Kazmat should. It behooves him to do it.
Yeah, because if he knocks out Kevin Holland, well, he's a star now. Like,
Well, I mean, look at both of them. They've been calling out people and fighting on a weekly all year. You know what I mean? Why not end the year on that note?
Yeah.
Because then the winner of that could be fighter of the year. Yeah. But like right now, they're both neck and neck for that. Them and Martin Vittori.
No, it's gonna be great, man.
I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be a great thing for both of them to do.
Yeah, you got those two guys, and then you got Cody Garbrandt talking shit at home. Hey, Cody Garbrandt, you listening to this? All you're gonna do is tweet, because all you do is talk shit at the house, bro. Shut the fuck up and fight. You need to fight in January. Well, he's still healing from an injury.
Did you hear what he was tweeting and then what happened?
No.
Okay, and I do not like Henry Cejudo, but this I got to give him credit for this. So the fight with Figueiredo and Moreno ends, and Garbrandt's like, "Hey Henry, looks like it's you and I up next," and Cejudo was like, "Oh, nice try, Cody. If I come back, it's only for gold." Like. He's like, "No, I'm not fighting you. Shut the hell up." Like,
yeah, and there's no reason to fight Cody Garbrandt.
No.
Yeah.
Like the last guy he beat was Rafael Assunção, and it's like, ooh, good job. Like,
well, he's not trash, but like, I mean,
he hasn't been relevant in years, man.
Yes,
it's been a long time since
he's a decent gatekeeper, man.
But still, I mean, when you uncork a wild punch like that against a decent gatekeeper and you knock him out, and people act like that, like, oh, he's back, and it's like, oh, is he? Like,
yeah, he's back. He's back in his fucking lazy boy, because he did that, and then he set his ass down for the rest of the year.
Back
he did
on
that
Twitter,
with fans.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I just don't see it, and I liked where he was when he beat Dominic Cruz. Like I said, I'll always say it, he had the best fight ever against anybody, because he just negated every single thing Dominic Cruz did. Every single thing. Everything. Like it was masterful. It was a masterclass. If I had to pick one fight on how to fight somebody, if I was fighting a champion or something like that, I would pick the fight like Cody Garbrandt did against Dominic Cruz. And nobody else even comes close to me, to be honest with you. That's how great it was to me. Single performance. That's to me. But the dude just talked so much shit afterwards, and then he got slapped, man. Like, and then I don't know. Anyway, he needs to shut the fuck up about the flyweight division and all that. He needs to fight his demons. He needs to knock a couple of them out and beat up a couple of couch potatoes.
My thing is I don't like when fighters get injured and then talk shit from Twitter as if they're ready to fight. Like, shut the fuck up. Go get a fight under your belt and then talk your shit. Like,
and I wasn't trying to I wasn't trying to be dismissive, like, because I've been talking shit about him all year. But this is what I meant when I told you that. I didn't know what he said on Twitter, but I know he does stuff like that because he can't help it, because that's who he is. And that's why I was mad back then, because I was like, look, man, this is what's going to happen. He's going to sit at home, not fight, and he's going to just talk all the time. And he's not going to be relevant unless he's opening his mouth on Twitter. He's not going to be punching anybody. Is he punching his fucking pillows? Like, damn, I could have did that, But, like, I mean, the guy... Hey, you know how much he gets talked about? Us, our podcast. If he puts his name, Sporticus is going to pop up. That's the only fucking thing that's going to pop up is Sporticus. Cody Garbrandt. Oh, Sporticus.
There's like a self-burn on that one.
Kind of, yeah. Hey, I'll take one for 10. It don't even matter, bro. It don't. I'm willing to do cakes.
Let's stop talking about Cody Garbrandt. Let's stop talking about Cody Garbrandt. Let's
fan of the hour.
I'll end it on that particular fight, saying I can't wait for the rematch. I'm happy that it ended in a draw, and honestly, I really, really can't wait to see what the flyweight division has to offer after it. I'm really excited. But after that,
let's talk about the man of the hour, though.
Let's get the drum roll, please.
Right about everything. You called it from the beginning, since it's like one of our first shows. You called it, man.
King has arrived. He's back.
The floor is yours, man.
Oh, man. Charles Oliveira, you have made me such a happy man that if I could take you out for ice cream, I would. And then I would call you the next day, even if you wanted to break it off. That's totally fine. But no, I'm just joking. But Charles Oliveira, man, I am so impressed with where he is right now. Like he has come from literally just a kid who was better than everyone at jiu-jitsu and had a lot of heart, to now he's an actual legitimate scary contender. Like, I think he is the next champ of that division because nobody's beating his jiu-jitsu, and apparently his stand-up is something to fear. Like Tony Ferguson couldn't figure him out on the feet. I mean, God forbid he gets to the ground with them, couldn't do anything, So I mean, we all know, anyone who watched that fight knows that Charles Oliveira could have just completely crippled Tony Ferguson at any point. Now he's very lucky that
And I wanted him to. Man, I wanted him to. But
I mean, he wouldn't have been wrong to do it. You know what I mean? In this spot,
yeah.
with that opportunity, with him that dead to rights, he could have broken his arm and just ended the fight. I'm kind of glad for Tony Ferguson that the bell rang when it did. But had he had plenty of time, like 30 seconds, even
no,
whatever. I mean, when he didn't tap on the initial and then he switched it over to the to just the crank, like when he's just put the arm kind of like wedged between his arm and his side, like I was like, all right, man, like I get it, you don't necessarily want to see his arm pop out and everything, but dude's asking for it, man. Like, fucking tap. I get it, you're tough, you have heart, but fucking tap, dude. Like,
I feel like, here's the thing. It's like, I think Charles Oliveira is gonna regret not breaking his arm. If he breaks his arm, we're talking about Tony Ferguson. Listen to this. Now, listen to how wild this is. I know you like Charles Oliveira, but you weren't putting him necessarily up there with Khabib, right?
I wasn't.
Right. And that's fine, right? But check this out. Tony Ferguson, the man we thought could beat Khabib, if he gets his arm broken by Charles Oliveira, that's such a fucking statement. The man we thought was going to do it all and beat Khabib, or the only guy who had a shot,
The problem with that is, not only was that all eliminated when he lost to Gaethje, but the problem with it also is I haven't thought that for like 2 years.
But I'm just saying, you would be the guy that you broke a man's arm that we once thought was possibly the greatest.
Yeah,
one of the greatest. Like, you broke his arm. You took somebody we thought could beat Khabib. It don't matter how long ago it was. We thought he could beat Khabib, and you broke his fucking arm. The statement that makes launches you into the stratosphere. Like,
you want to hear another? You want to hear another statement that the only people are going to hear right here on Sporticus?
What?
I think that nobody wants a piece of Charles Oliveira. I don't think McGregor. I don't think Gaethje. I don't think Poirier. I don't think anybody wants a piece of Charles Oliveira. No, I don't think so. Because he knows once that fight gets to the ground, he is not in a good way.
I think Poirier does, because he's got enough to contend with Oliveira standing up, and I think he's going to try to. Fighters try to trick you into staying on your feet, which never really works. But I think he would try to implement that game plan. We know Connor's trash. He's trash. If he steps in there, it's over. And
the second it goes to the ground, he's just going to get submitted. It's not even going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, and it's going to go to the ground immediately.
Yeah, like I said, Conor McGregor, he can get money fights with Gaethje or Poirier, but it's not a money fight with Oliveira. Oliveira doesn't have that good of a name. You know what I mean?
But he would be if he broke Tony Ferguson's arm. Now we'd be like, oh man, the man that broke Tony Ferguson's arm. Like, you see what I mean? Like, he should have branded himself by breaking Tony Ferguson's arm. He's gonna live to regret that, man. And then you're talking about money fight.
I would like to see if there was anything that was done to it, because that first part of that armbar, I thought I saw some legitimate cause to think that there was some tearing, or Tony Ferguson's the most flexible motherfucker on the planet.
It could be very flexible.
Yeah, I mean, hey, whatever. Like
it's MMA. I've seen them. So
when I did a grappling competition, I got my back taken, and the guy already had my arm in like sort of a Kimura fashion, and he was just like twisting it up and up, and it just wasn't breaking. But I was also a lot more limber at the time.
He took you out for ice cream afterwards?
No, he did not, actually. He whipped my ass, outpointed me like 14-3 or something, and I only got points on like the fact that I was able to reverse stuff, but I was mounted the entire time pretty much. It was not fun for a grappling. The next one I did a lot better. I got submitted, but I was actually winning in points. I had got the takedown and I had moved positions, and then the guy caught me in an armbar and I had to tap. So, yep, that was my grappling.
It happens, man. I mean, that's the one thing I didn't do was get in competition. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never did any like real or like any intense training. No, I didn't train for anything. You know what I'm saying? I've been in there. I've done some stuff with like um, nothing beyond. Nothing like what you've done. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't even been in the competitions. I just honestly I don't like competition. That
Yeah.
sounds weird, right? Look, I hold Sporticus and I don't like competition. Personally, I don't like personally. I don't like to play video games against my friends and stuff. I don't like to play against people. You know, I know that sounds super weird, but I don't, man, because it's
Some people.
um yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I thought, oh shoot, my bad. No, I just don't, man. It's weird. It's just I don't wanna hurt people I care about and stuff like that. So like I'd rather be on a team with you and play against the opposition. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's people I don't know, that's way different. But I don't ever want to be in competition with people that I do know and stuff like that. And I just get weird about it because like I would have I would have went easy on Tony Ferguson too. I would have like after that, like Charles Oliveira did. I would have absolutely done it. I would have felt bad about it, about doing that, but like I would have went easy on him.
For me it's hard to say because like my goal isn't to do that, but if I'm in that sort of position, at that moment in time, I think I break it just because that's what the move calls for.
Yes.
You go until the
Yep.
tap, you go until it gets out of it. You go while you know you have it and you have the lock and it's effective. You know it hurts him. He's just not flinching. Like especially like if you're as high of a level jiu-jitsu ace as Charles Oliveira, like he could have made that arm basically like a bag of Legos. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like just the fact that he didn't, like, kudos, and I respect that, but I really really hope that he goes into the next um, realm of fights that he's eligible for now, and rightfully so. I think he needs to go in those with a little bit less caring for the other person, because if God forbid he does get to fight McGregor or Gaethje or Poirier, any of those guys are going to knock his head off if they get the chance.
Exactly.
Like even McGregor, like if the fight doesn't go to the ground, then Charles Oliveira might be the one in trouble. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to stand up with McGregor too long unless you're so superior in boxing. It's ridiculous. Like, or you can take a punch. See, here's the thing: you got to take a punch from McGregor. McGregor, you have to. He's going to land them, and they're going to be very solid and very clean. So you got to be able to take a punch. Um, Diaz could, so that fight went the way it did, and so could Mayweather. But I'm not saying everybody. I don't think everybody can. So yeah, you don't stand up in front of Conor McGregor. I mean, Khabib did too, but you get what I'm saying. Like, don't stand up in front of him for too long. Dustin Poirier, he needs to be concerned. Like, he's not a pushover. Sure, I called him trash just minutes ago, but like that's because no, I'm not contradicting myself. For those saying he's contradicting himself, no, he's trash because he's so one dimensional. You know what he has to do. You know what I'm saying? So if you take a punch, he's already lost. Like that's the end of it, dude. Don't fall down and take the punch. But yeah, he needs Charles Oliveira needs a killer instinct. That's what he needs. He needs to be able to. He needs that Steph Curry barrier three from half court. That's what that broken arm would have did. It would have been a Steph Curry three from half court, man. Just making such a statement. But I mean, I don't want to talk so much about what he didn't do. What he did do was make Tony Ferguson look like he should stop fighting. Like, I know Tony Ferguson can still beat people, but man, his last two fights did not go the way he wanted them to. And I mean, in the worst way. Like, you ever seen somebody lose a fight and you go, damn, I mean, are you actually even good at this? Like, don't get me wrong, I know he is. I'm just saying, like, the point is, he really took a L. Like, he got his ass whooped by Charles Oliveira. Like, what's next? We know what's next for Charles Oliveira. He gets one more fight and then the title fight. And they're gonna put him through it. He's gonna fight Poirier or Conor, the winner of that. He's the loser of that. I think he's gonna fight. But what the hell does Tony Ferguson do? He's like in Tyron Woodley territory.
He can go fight like, I don't know, anyone that's not in the top 5. I mean, he can even fight Dan Hooker, who's number 5. Like, I don't fucking care. Like, I'll watch it, but he's gonna need to win about 3 or 4 more fights before he gets a contender anyway. So whatever.
I mean, who do you see? Who do you see as his next fight? I mean, I know you don't care.
Like, if I was to throw a prediction out, I think a fun one would be like Ferguson versus like Paul Felder or Ally Quinta.
I like Felder. I think that's good. I think it's a good one. That's a really good fight for both of them. Keeps Tony Ferguson relevant in terms of, can he still beat top guys or semi-top guys. So yeah. It's a test for him. It's definitely a test for Felder. It's like, are you capable of beating somebody who used to be elite, or is on the cusp of, not cusp of being elite, but like, I don't know. He's like right there, dude. It's crazy. He's right in the middle. Like, he is not the top guy, clearly, but
you want to get
one of the elite.
You want to give him like a good fight that would actually be like, all right, well, if you beat him, we might give you a contender afterwards. Would be like somebody like Dos Anjos, who's Rafael Dos Anjos, who's like number 6. So like, yeah, Ferguson takes a hit in the rankings because of the Oliveira loss. I think Charles Oliveira is going to leapfrog Dos Anjos anyway, so you could plausibly give Ferguson Dos Anjos and have it be like, all right, this is your last chance to prove you're a contender sort of fight.
Yeah. Dos Anjos has not been good in so long. I don't know. I never liked him as a fighter.
He won his last fight.
That's fine. He just never. What is it about him? I mean, what's he good at? I have no idea who he is as a fighter.
Sean, I'll tell you. I don't know. I've never known, but everyone else might. Yeah,
I thought it was just
everyone really loves him. Like, I have no idea. I've never seen it either.
He just popped up one day. He beat Endo, right? Or was it Anthony Pettis? That was Anthony Pettis.
Someone. It doesn't even matter.
They hot potatoed the shit out of that belt because Hendo had it for a minute, and then Anthony Pettis beat his ass, and then Anthony Pettis got his ass whooped by Dos Anjos, and like none of them have been anything of note since then. Like, literally, Dos Anjos won that belt, and I was like, who fucking cares? Like, who is he? Where he come from? Dude, he came out of nowhere, and I was like, okay, so when he beat Anthony Pettis, that was it. That was it for Hendo, Pettis, and him, all in the same swoop. Like, man, I need to write an article about where the fuck are they now, because he shouldn't be. Whatever. I mean, yeah, that he is so uninteresting. Like, period. I never watched a fight of his and been entertained.
Yeah.
I mean, ain't that weird? Have you? Have you ever watched it?
I'm not a big Dos Anjos guy, so I think I've watched his fights before back in a couple years ago, but yeah, he's been in and out of the game so sporadically that I just kind of lost track of him.
And then he's got that fucking weird mustache. He's got Henry Caviezel's mustache and Mission Impossible. Like, I don't know why he has that now. He's just all around. I don't know who he is, what he wants, why he's here. But yeah, I would love for somebody to whoop his ass. I hope Tony Ferguson beats. He needs to be over in Bellator. Oh my God, please just send him over there. Wow, like I've never had so much like he reminds me of well, he doesn't have any personality, but he reminds me of Alex. What's that dude? The dude name with the big afro?
Oh, Caceres.
Yeah, that guy.
Bruce Lee.
Everybody loves him, but like he doesn't do anything. It's like, what?
Like what? He's like 11-11 in his career, but
he's so not entertaining, dude. He's so tall.
Better. Like from when he broke in, like he's gotten a little bit better. Like
he fights.
Yeah, like when yeah.
He needs to be over in Bellator. And that's not. Here's the thing, they just destroy him in Bellator. I want him to be destroyed. I want people to either be built up and do the best they can, or get the fuck out of here. And I think that Bellator just gets people the fuck out of here pretty easily. You know, like if you get your ass whooped in Bellator, it only takes like 2 really bad losses, and it's like, yeah, man, we don't need you here. You know, and I appreciate that. Cut him. Like I want him to get cut. How the fuck is he still with the UFC and he has a terrible record like that?
Yeah, I have no idea. I
I
think
mean,
because he's a fan favorite.
he's not even Paige Van Zant level though. Like he's not even that good. And that, and I'm not trying to knock her. I'm saying like she was at a certain level and he's nowhere near that. Like he should never see, like he should be the first fight at every card, the prelims. Like, the shit you know when somebody get knocked out way too fast and they got to throw on a fight from like the shit they weren't televising. He's that fight. He's that fight, dude. You know. Yeah, but I hate him. Tony. I know people are probably like, oh, hate. Like, yeah, man. Like, I love sports. Okay. And when someone comes in and make a mockery out of it, I don't like them at all. I dislike them so much that one might say I hate them. I'd say I hate them. I'm saying I hate people like that. Cody Garbrandt talks a bunch of shit. And then what has he done for MMA lately besides talk shit? Nothing. You're a fighter. That's your job. You're a professional fighter. Shut the fuck up and step in the cage, dude. You need to be in that motherfucker when your bicep healed. Straight up. If you that good. And the crazy part is fighting. And I've always known it could be done like this. You know, the COVID era, people are like, no, man, you need camps. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. No, get your ass in there and fight the next week. You know, we saw Cowboy do. He was the first one. And I'll always love Cowboy for this. He paved the way for this happening because he was one of the very few guys that would just fight short notice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter who it was, no matter what it was, he'd fight short notice. He'll take that fight. I'm not saying other guys didn't do it, but he was famous for that. You know, he'll fight whoever, whenever. I love him for that. That's exactly what the sport needed. And 2020's not been a great year for so many people. We lost Debo. I want to throw that in there. We lost Tiny Lister, Debo from Friday, or Zeus, as people know him. When he faced Hulk Hogan in No Holds Bars, and when he faced him in the WWE or WWF back in. I don't know if you saw that Debo died.
Yeah, I
see that?
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching highlights. I mean, it's kind of crazy because like we start. It's like, oh man, he didn't have that big of an effect, but he did because there wasn't a whole bunch of black wrestlers like that. Like this dude went straight up again. He went toe to toe against Hulk Hogan. Like. Hulk Hogan being a mega star, like the biggest star in wrestling. And then that was like, it was like he was going up against Michael Jordan, you know what I'm saying? And like, just seeing, I know, like, if you look at those promos back then, they're funny. They're not good. They're funny. He's like slobbing on himself. It's crazy. But the fact that he was a black dude being a wrestler, going up against Hulk Hogan of all people, that stuck with me a lot more than what I thought it did, because I just immediately thought back to, oh man, I remember No Holds Bars and how I wish he had been WWE champion. I don't give a fuck if it was a week. That would have, imagine what that would have done. I might be a professional wrestler if that had happened. Seriously, that's how much of a influence stuff like that had. Like I said, I didn't think about it until I saw he pass. But anyway, we'll get into all of that. But yeah, I want to keep. I like keeping the sport clean and clear of clowns, and I know you do too. And I know that's why you don't like Henry Cejudo.
Well, when he fights, then whatever, you kind of just got to take it. But when you try to retire for attention, and then you still want to like tweet and talk shit about how you can like take this belt and that belt, shut the fuck up, dude. Just either fight or shut the fuck up. Like, come on.
Exactly. And I wish. I mean, with the COVID, like I was saying, with the COVID era UFC has been great. I think if he had actually not retired, he could have solidified his spot as one of the GOATs because he would have been destroying people every week. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he can. Like, he's that good. And I wish he was more substance and less flair.
Yeah.
But check this out, though. He's doing the thing that I'm saying people need to do. Make some noise. He tweets. Sure, he's annoying. Sure, he's being laughed at. But nobody was laughing when he was, the double champ. Like nobody was laughing then. And he got to where he was with a combination of skill and talking. That's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. And like I say, I argue that him and Mighty Mouse were the glue that held that division together. Like, Mighty Mouse being as dominant as he was great because you had a great champion there, and Cejudo being just a name. I'm not like I know why you don't like him. I'm just saying though, the fact that he's someone you can mention and people will know who that is something. Sure, people knew Mighty Mouse, but like Cejudo spilled over into other stuff, which is fine. Not a whole lot of stuff. Point being, and honestly, he wouldn't have been there without fighting Mighty Mouse anyway. But I respect that a lot more than I do, like you say, guys just talking shit at home, talking about they can win this belt and that belt. When you got guys fighting literally every week, like guys fighting back-to-back weeks, man, and that's the best thing to come out of this, man. That Cub Swanson hit. When he hit dude, I don't know why the ref just didn't stop it. He didn't need to kill him. That shit was over. And he was like, seriously? And he, wow, you heard it? I was like, yeah, okay. This is going to be a great card. Like, I knew then. I was like, that's an MMA moment right there, man. Yeah. I saw one of my friends that's he's a boxing enthusiast, so he loves all that shit. But he retweeted that. He was like, damn, so that was cool to see, man. I want more moments like that from people who like. Who would you like to see? And then I guess we can end on this question, but like, who would you like to see? Come out of nowhere. Like you saw Charles Oliveira come up. You got that one right. But who else would you like to see come up like that? Out of any division, hell, it could be any sport. Like, just somebody just come up out of nowhere and just be a star.
Oh God, man, that's a tough one.
I know that's I know it's super broad, but like just saw some names out there. Like one that I had on my list until she was a fucking bitch. Sorry, I can't put it any other way. Macy Barber, before she actually showed any signs of her personality, I was like, yeah, Macy Barber, like because they were pumping her up. That's the thing when you watch video packages, they had video package. I was like, yeah, cool. And then I was like, oh no.
I guess if I was to throw a name out there, it'd be Amanda Rivas at this point.
Oh yeah.
Because remember, and honest, I'm not saying this like with any like ego, but I've been right about everyone else. Like Piotr Jan, I've been right about. Right. Yeah, I mean, I just called Charles Oliveira. Like, I've been pretty right about everyone else, so everyone else is, right around where I should be. I think if I was to say I was wrong about somebody, it would have been a Kamazat Kaimev. Like, I'd say I was kind of wrong about him because remember, like, I was a hater. I was like, wow, he's knocking out scrubs. Well, whatever. He's still knocking everyone out, and he's still fighting every other week. So it's like, whatever,
No, I wouldn't say that was hate, because you're right. Like he's held to a certain standard. It's like, okay, you're knocking out scrubs. Now do that to somebody like Kevin Holland. Like, sure, we'll praise you, but like we'll stop praising you if you get your ass knocked out against him. So I don't think he was hating. He was holding him accountable, man. And it's always important that we just don't jump on somebody's bandwagon, because a lot of people do that. Like Sean O'Malley. Yep, hate him too. Clown, idiot. Don't let them do video packages on you like that. Oh man, he's a star. Why would you do that? Why would you say no? Because you could lose the fight, and then we could laugh at your goofy ass. And he lost. He lost that fight. And people say, oh man, he got hurt. He got hurt. He was hurt. He got hurt. It wasn't. Was it a fluke accident? Nope. Because I seen the same thing happen before. It's not like it's never happened before. My point was, if somebody, this is why I was holding Davis and Figueiredo up to this super high standard, because unless you've seen that before, you wouldn't think Sean O'Malley would be hurt on that. You say, oh, he hurt himself. No, I think it was Henry Cejudo or somebody, Mighty Mouse did it to Henry Cejudo or somebody, but like, yeah, you tag that spine on somebody's leg like that, and that's exactly what happens. It's precision, you know. Uh, and you got clowns out here just not respecting the game. He didn't respect the game, man. But yeah, Amanda Hebus, like you saying, she respect the game. Mackenzie Dern not Mackenzie Dern, but Macy Barber, she don't respect the game. Who else? Any young guys like I mean, we know flyweights are doing great stuff. Like we want to see Moreno, but like any other like heavyweight, like young heavyweights or something like that coming up?
No young heavyweights. I mean, Vincente Luque has always been a guy that I've been kind of like watching. Like other than that, like I mean, Cyril Gahn is a guy that I kind of want to see more of. But honestly, right now, I think everyone's right where I thought they would be. I got nobody that's not except for Hebos technically. I know it's not a great answer,
Yeah,
but
I mean, yeah, I haven't been right about all my predictions and stuff like that. I'll tell you one prediction I was super right about. This has nothing to do with MMA, but I was right about Jalen Hurts. I knew he was going to start. He was going to start in this season. Everybody was like, "No, Carson Wentz there." I was like, "Nope." They draft Jalen Hurts. I knew they were going to draft Jalen Hurts too. It's crazy. I don't even pay attention to college sports like this. But as I'm watching the like before I turn on draft, I'm like, "Oh, the Eagles they're gonna get Jalen Hurts." You know why? Because he's the answer to the Carson Wentz question. How do I get rid of this motherfucker?
right.
But yeah, I called that from the draft that he will go to the Eagles and that he would start for them. So, but anyway, I'm not the only thing I was right about in MMA that I'm really proud about is that Cody Garbrandt is still at fucking home. He's still eating chips and popcorn. Take us home, Sam.
All right. This is God. This is Sporticus. I'm pretty sure, right? This is Sporticus.
Yes, it's 42.
All right, and you've been. What do we do? Do we sports entertain?
Yes, we do that.
All right. Well, then this has been Sporticus, and you've been sports entertained.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, all at Sporticus Live. That's Sport, ICUS, Live. Sporticus Live. See you there.